Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast, episode number 241. I am your host, 65 Lokes, chilling once again, back at the pad, relaxed, about to sip some green tea that I got right here. Keep me nice and warm, and got some exciting news on this podcast episode. I'm gonna touch on new upcoming releases, update on the Laurel build, House of Kolor paint, airbrush, also a Corvair build, new arrivals, and ModelFest. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the Tamiya releases. So check this out. We just got news. Tamiya is going to be releasing some kits this year. They're expected, the ETA that I received from my distributor was early April 2025. It's an ETA, so that can always change. It could always get pushed back to like maybe May, June, who knows. But for the most part, they've been consistent. Things have been coming out on time. And I'm going to give you guys the list of some of the kits that are coming out. We have Tamiya 124 scale Toyota GR Supra Custom, also an Audi Quattro, Porsche 962C, Jägermeister. I hope I said it right or pronounced it. See, I'm all like scrambled. Jägermeister. Those two little dots over the A. Also, Honda Prelude Double X and a Mercedes-Benz 500 SCE. So those are the new cars, the lineup that's going to be coming out. Just from looking at the Toyota GR Supra Custom, I mean, you could definitely see some differences here based off of the other original Supra that they had released some years back. And we do have that other previous one that they released in the online store. I know Zoom On Model has released like a body kit. I also there's another company that has also released body kits for the Supra. Can't think of it right now. Let's see. But you know what? We're connected to the internet, so let's look it up. Tamiya Supra body kit. Let's see who else sells it here. Wide body kit, man. And oh man, there's so many listings now. This is crazy that are coming up. Um, and what were the name? Fugu Garage. Those are the dudes that were releasing this. Let me see. Garage. Bam, there you go. Found it. Fugu Garage. Yeah, so they were releasing a body kit for this. But this one here, they had like what an HKS version and an A90 Veris. Man, it took me a little minute to find that. But this one here, I mean, this is a custom version. The pieces are already here. Most likely everything's gonna fit perfect like a glove. I mean, for those of you that have experience building Tamiya kits over the years will know, dang, like these things for the most part always come together, and it's less trouble here. So that one there looks like a new kit where they added those extra features on there. These other ones here, they almost look like repop kits, just based off of looking at the artwork. The artwork looks very vintage. I'm not familiar with these kits. I have never seen them before, and them bringing them back, if these are back catalog items that they've had for many years, maybe producing these in the 90s up to the 2000s and then bringing them back, it's pretty dope, that they waited and now they're here. I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably have these in their stashes, maybe different artwork, and it takes you back. I mean, just from looking at this artwork, it's done really nicely, very presentable, and it definitely, you could see how this could inspire some ideas to come in, especially now with all the tools, technology, information, accessories, everything that we could add to these cars. I mean, this is another chance right here to for it to get you know, some fresh air. And the Porsche 962C, I've never built this style of car, and it looks very tempting. It looks very like attractive, like it's pulling me in just from seeing it with this livery right here. You know, very old school kind of vintage style box artwork. And let me see here. I mean, you could tell that this is something you're definitely gonna have to paint, like an orange base coat, then following it up with all the wire slide decals there, and clearing that thing up. I mean, it just looks beautifully. I'm pretty sure Zoom On is probably busy right now. I'm pretty sure these dudes are like attacking each kit. Like, all right, what can we do? I know for the Toyota GR Supra, they have many aftermarket parts for that. Even the carpets, the interior carpets, they have all that set up. But I wonder, I'm very curious to see what they're gonna come out with for the Audi Quattro. I'm pretty sure that Porsche 962, possibly like some headlights. I know they've done headlights for that style of car, and the Honda Prelude, that right there looks very interesting, uh, very vintage 90s look. And I mean, honestly, these cars, you can go both ways. You could either build them box stock, just the way they were. If you want to go with factory colors, the stance, everything, if you want to challenge yourself to really produce a car of just the way it was brought out to the market, or you can do a box stock, but just, give it your whatever colors you have at hand. Or if you really want to spice things up, you can definitely customize this, lowering it, possibly cameraing the wheels. There's just so many directions you can go with when you decide to go the custom route right there, especially with all the inspirations and things and like remixes that we start to see with old cars nowadays. And the last one from this list that I mentioned earlier was the Mercedes Benz. I mean, this car right here, such a classic. If I was building this one, I don't think I would really be modifying it, unless if I did some research and I found something very inspirational where someone just, put some really nice wheels on this. Other than that, I mean, this right here would be definitely um, something challenging to just build it box stock, because as much as you get used to customizing and wanting to switch this and that, it's almost like you have to fight your brain, like, no, 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 don't do it, just keep at it, leave it as is, let's go this direction. And it would just look like a beautiful model to be on a shelf, or maybe for someone that that's a fan of Mercedes Benz, would be a nice gift. So even the pricing on these, they're really great. They're not too crazy extravagant. It's something, around the lowest price point, like $34.99, going up to like $44. So in between those ranges are where most of these kits land. And the Toyota GR Supra being the more on the high end, the $44. But with that model, I mean, there's other model brands and things that go for a lot more. But this being a household name, Tamiya, you can't go wrong with it. And it's something that's always gonna obtain its value. I mean, if you really wanna, 10 years from now get rid of it, you really need the money. I mean, you could, sell it for less, but I feel like that price point will always maintain, and it might go up a couple bucks in the future or whatever, but for the most part, I think those are some really good introductory prices, especially for veterans, for people that have been in the game for a long time, and also for newcomers, people that are just getting into it, and then they're now wanting to take those extra steps to the next level right there of building. It's always nice when you start off with like Revell, AMT, and you start switching it off to like Mobius, Tamiya, uh, Plots, and all these other Hasegawa, all these different brands. When you start to really see the differences in their plastics, the differences, the presentation, how clean one is in the other, and and so forth. And then later you start getting into the maybe not the politics side of it, because you don't really see, but you know, I think everyone agrees on certain brands where they'll say like, oh, this particular one's not that great on the plastic, you know. But these kits right here, they're all scheduled to drop around the early April. We do have them up already on our website, scaleriders.com, as a pre-order. So if you do decide that you want to pre-order this with us, just make sure that you do this separately from items that we have in stock, because we do have a pre-order policy, and it's pretty much we will hold your order until all items are in stock and ready to ship. You know, and that's what we recommend, because especially if this gets delayed or something. I mean, most of these kits, if they're already scheduled for that time, they're probably already packaged, or they're being packaged now. And when the time comes for them to get shipped, you know, they should be arriving hopefully around that time in April. But you know, if there's any delays in shipment and things like that, these are most likely going to be coming from Japan, I'm assuming. I mean, Tamiya is based out of Japan, but who knows? I mean, they're probably getting them done made somewhere else. Who knows? But these are top quality. You know, it's top quality stuff. No complaints like that. Man, I got to take a little sip real quick, guys. Hold on. Man, that's hot. So so these here, they're available on our website. We do have a pre-order section. If you hover over the new arrivals, and you'll be able to see those. Even if you just want to see photos of these kits, of what I'm talking about, you'll be able to view them there. I'll also plug in a link on the description. If you know, if you're listening to this on through your phone, you can just click it and visually see what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have already have seen these kits come up in the last few days online. And you know, when I saw these online, I was like, oh man, these are dope. And then I know the homie Dylan, NYS model, he had made a video on YouTube regarding these upcoming kits. And I checked with my distributor. Snacks had also hit me up regarding these kits if I was going to be getting the Supra. By the time I was going to, you know, reach out to my distributor, they already had them listed for reserve. So I was like, dude, I can't sleep on this. Gotta get them. So we're gonna be getting that right there. Very excited for those. Another one that I want to mention, we don't have it up for pre-order yet, but it is something that's gonna be coming down the pipeline for sure. One that I'm gonna try to get as many copies as I can of this kit, and it's just to have in stock. Because this is one that this particular car has grown on me, and man, it's like I have this model but in different brands. But this one here, it's the Honda Civic Sir EF9 1990, and this one's being produced by Hasegawa Hobby Kits. So this one here, when I started to see all the photographs, the advertisements on X, I was like, yo, dude, like, what? I was just tripping out. So this one here, it's more of a street version car, and so something you would definitely see in your area. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm on Hasegawa's website right now, so I'm gonna do my best to read off what they've written on here in their description, so this way you guys can uh, learn something about the kit as I'm going here. All right, so we have a fourth generation Civic, Grand Civic, to be released. A kit of VTEC engine Civic SIR, or SIR. Okay, the fourth generation Civic, commonly known as the Grand Civic, was released in September of 1987. Wide and low styling, DOHC 16-valve engine and Hyper 16-valve engine. Advanced Mechanisms such as four-wheel double wishbone suspension have been introduced. It has evolved into a model that combines stability and sportiness and has gained popularity among a wide range of people. In 1989, the SIR three-door sports model equipped with VTEC engine was introduced. The kit reproduces the 1990 model of the Civic SIR using a completely new model based on thorough research into the actual car. The vehicle height can be selected between normal to low down, reproduces right-hand drive 5-speed manual car. The body parts are black. The headlights and taillights are mirror finish. Ooh, nice. The side mirror surfaces and muffler cutter are plated parts. Dope. Metal inlets, front and rear Honda emblems, and window paint stickers are included. Oh yes, that's a must right there. So let's see. Looking at this right here, I mean, this definitely does look like a car that just came out of the factory. The photos they've been using to promote this is in all black. It has the man, it just looks beautiful. The VTEC on the side, the logo there. I see the Honda emblem. Just building the stock, even with its like stock stance, looks super nice right here. Man, everything. It just looks really, really rad. Whoever painted this for them, that put this model together, just did a great job. It looks very realistic. And then we see the bottom with the exhaust there. Yeah, the exhaust looks really nice as well. The interior, you get the two seats in the front, and then the back seat. Oh man, everything just looks very nice and detailed here. Let's see here, but the masks, the stickers for the windows, those are definitely a must. That's something that you will definitely need when getting ready to those final stages. So this model here, when I found out about it, I posted it. A lot of people seem to be very excited about it on Instagram, that this is a model that's coming out. And, you know, Hobby Nunu had also released an EF9. Let me pull that up. That one we did carry in our store. And let me see. I think, yeah, we're completely sold out of that one. But let me try to pull that up, because the thing with Hobby Nunu, they've released many versions of this car, the EF9, and they've been, but it's more of a race style of version. The first time I obtained the kit, the Nunu Hobby, this was the Honda Civic EF9 92, and it came with the Jax livery. That one there, I ended up building one, and just the whole process was very fun. Something about those kits, they fit really good together, and they're very clean. Like the styrene, everything fits really well. They also release like PE sets for them. At the time when I was building this car, I was not able to get the actual original like PE set that it came with. I was searching everywhere, eBay, any other online store that was carrying it, and no one had it. It almost seemed like I just missed that window a long time ago. But while building this, at the time, White Chocolate 124, who I mentioned on the previous podcast episode, he had released a let me see, let me go on this page. He had released some like a trans kit pretty much, and his was the Honda Civic EF9 Street Custom version. So his version is what I needed to make mine more of a street version, because The one that's released by Hobby Nunu, it's more of a like a racing uh, version, and I mean it almost looks like in the back, like on the sides where you insert like the fuel, you could tell that on one side the original fuel tank, like it was like sealed up, like almost like bolted in, because you do see the little bolts in there, and then it's more like the rear, where on the two sides you have like two inlets to fuel the vehicle. And it could be, most of these, they'll have like a fuel cell or something in the back. And I mean, the inside, it's dope because it's stripped. Like, you could put two seats or just one seat, and then the whole back is stripped. If you were planning on building, like a race, a version style, and kind of inspired, like if you want to do like a conjo build, but going more towards like, all right, I'm not hitting the streets, I'm more hitting the circuit, or we're gonna be over here at this like more raceway, like legitimate establishment. We're not gonna get in trouble by the police or anything like that. Then this would be a great model to get and just modify that way, right? But if you wanted to go more the conjo style and everything, street version, or even just not even that, just like a California version, or maybe an East Coast version, like wherever you live, wherever you're from, that you have a love for the EF9s, that Hasegawa kit is gonna hit home for sure. Shout outs to the homie David out in Spain. He has an EF9. He's shown me photos, and he's also told me the story how he had an EF9, and you know he had already built it the way he wanted to do it, and he had it parked. There was a car accident. Someone hit the car, pretty much just messed it up pretty bad, and he had to put it away. And I believe he obtained another one, and now he's back to building it. And he does. He has an Instagram page for it, and he's just kind of doing like little updates. But he's on Instagram. The building page is like Hoppo124, but I believe from there it can link you to the EF9 page. But so many different people everywhere have these EF9s, and or had them maybe when they were going to school, and they had to sell them or something. But I know for a lot of people it's gonna definitely hit home. Late last year, we did obtain the EF9, the 91, with another Jack's livery, just in a different colorway. And I know when this one came out, I believe I ordered like 12 copies. I ended up, and I was even like, oh, I'm gonna keep one for myself just because of the artwork, right? I was like, I'm gonna end up keeping one, and I didn't end up doing that. I ended up just selling out of the 12. Not right away, but over time. It took some months, but ended up selling out of the 12, and then I obtained like, I think like another 5, and then that was it. And also at that time, I was able to get the PE sets for these. So some people did buy both. They got the kit and the PE set to complement the kit, and others just got the pure kit by themselves. And then some people even just bought the pure PE set. So I don't, with those situations, it kind of makes me think. I wonder if they were like, oh man, there's a PE set. I didn't see. Mm. But that's a nice kit. That version there. But if you still have one of those new kits and you still want to do a street version, you can just go to White Chocolate 124 and look up the Honda Civic EF9 Street Custom version. You'll see there all the different parts that come in the kit that will make it more of a street version. And but going back to this Hasegawa one, man, it's a really nice kit. I mean, I had fun with mine. I did it in all black. I used a Scale Rider water slide decals on it, so I gave it that livery on it. And I did do it more of a like a Japanese inspired Kanjo racer build. Something that I would like, if I was there, or if someone owned my car, that I owned my car, that car, particular car, it would be in the loop for sure, running from police, you know, or racing other dudes, you know, we're trying to outrace a ice. And so that one there is coming out. Once I find out, you know, when we're going to be getting it, I'll put that up for pre-order, but definitely going to be planning on getting a lot of copies of that right there. And so let's move on to the next. So I want to give you guys an update. I don't know if some of you have been following along or not with my update on the Laurel build. This is a Fujimi kit, and I've been recording as I've been building this car, documenting, and you know, talking with Slowly Models. We were talking about this before I even started it, you know, and I was expressing to him how, like, you know, I was just busy with life and stuff, and I felt like I really wasn't doing much. Like, I wasn't really building as much. If anything, I was just more working. You guys were keeping me busy, like with orders and stuff like that, you know, which I'm very appreciative. But at the same time, I felt like a void. Like, man, like I need to like be consistent again. I'm starting to have a lot more time now. I need to continue recording podcasts, reporting on news and stuff, but I also need to get back on that bench. So now that, you know, the bench is there, everything's set up, now back up to speed, I needed to put in that work, you know. The one thing is I didn't want to like set all this up and then not do anything and just kind of relax and, you know, and just stare at stuff. So with this build, part one of the video has been released on YouTube. And this one here, it's basically just showing what's in the kit. And later I had released part two. So with part two, this one here, I started to the bottom chassis was pretty much assembled. I started to prep the body for paint by sanding it. And while filming this stuff and telling you know, Slowly about this stuff, I was beforehand, before I actually got to filming, I was telling him how sometimes with the filming thing, it gets a bit exhausting. Like, it gets tiring where sometimes it takes away from what you're doing because you're really focused on the idea of the build, right? And I know in the past I've tried filming stuff and sometimes it gets stressful just because it's like, you know, you could be doing something and then you're kind of already like, oh, I don't want to mess up, or oh, you know, or did I get the right angle, or what's going on? And it's just so much of that. It's like overload and thinking, and I didn't want to be stressing on that kind of stuff, you know. I don't have anybody with me that could film me or anything like that, so this is all stuff I have to do on my own, because whenever I get those windows of opportunity to go and work on the model, I gotta be ready and everything set up and hit record. So I was overthinking stuff. So once I got in there and I started filming, a lot of that started to kind of go away. And then I also needed to tell myself, okay, now that I'm filming this stuff, don't rush it. Don't like compile this whole thing and just put it out there the same day. Like, give it some time, watch it again. Because I'm so used to doing the other way, where it's more like raw footage, more of like no editing, simple editing, but let's put it out. I want to put out content. And with this, I was like, no, like, I'm going to put out the content, but I need to take some time, you know. And once I started recording all my little clips, I would export everything to my computer. It started, you know, editing everything on iMovie. I'm just using a basic program. I don't have no extravagant program, nothing like that. Very basic in iMovie editing stuff. But I started to see, like, all the time the full length. I was like, man, that's long. It's too long of a video. So once I started cutting out all the weight, you know, all the fat, all the dead weight, and all that stuff, and I narrowed it down, tapering it, I finally got it to where I was like, all right, cool. Now this is more visible. It's not too long, you know. And in the beginning, I was talking. You know, those first videos, I was just talking, talking, talking. But I felt like from the second video part going forward, I started to record, but I really wasn't. How can I say this? I really wasn't talking as much. I was just building. I would just find an angle that I wanted. I'd hit record, and I would just start building, and I was just getting into the zone, you know. And I wasn't thinking, but then I'd stop the camera. So I started to just record little bits, little bits, little bits, and it wasn't as stressful, you know. And it started to now give me more ideas, more different angles, and and then once I started compiling everything, now it was more like, okay, this is a drawing board. I recorded all these clips. I gotta find a way to kind of tell the story in a way without even talking, and just letting the whatever sounds are there, whether it's the clicking of the nippers cutting plastic, the knife or sanding, things like that. I was just gonna let that go, you know, like as is. And once I was editing, I started watching it. I started to get into it, and I'm like, all right, I got to do more, something like this, not too long, but shorter videos. And then I was like, I need to pace myself. Let me put one of these videos out at least once a week, you know, the following up to this build, and not overdo it. So with the car, I pretty much ended up using God hand sponges, and I mean, the body looked very clean, so it was very minimal of wet sand that I needed to do. So I ended up scuffing, sanding the body, and then cleaning all that up. Primer. With the primer, I started to sand it like in the 600 grit. Got that all prepped up. Boom, ready to go. Now we're in the booth. You know, um, once it was time to paint, I needed to make my selections. Like, okay, well, what colors am I gonna roll with? Is it gonna based on what I have? I gotta use what I have, you know. So I started looking around, decided, no, I'm gonna go with House of Kolor, but which color? So then I was looking at my Gloria kit that I had built last year, and I was like, okay, I did that one in a green, like a teal green, and I just love the way it looks under the light, under the sun. And I was like, why don't I do another car similar to that, but in blue? Pretty much following the same steps with an Orion Silver Max base, and then just following up with blue candy. But I'm not gonna spray it light. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more on a heavy, like medium side of things, but not also overdoing it where it's too dark, you know? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go that route. So this way, it's almost like if these cars were like part of the same crew, you know. And even though one's a little bit more like modded out, really loud and dropped and everything, this is more of a stock version, but with just a custom paint job. That's it, you know. No mods to the body, nothing like that. No lowering. Just the way it's gonna come out of the box. If it looks low, you know, I didn't mod anything, you know. All I did was I'm just giving it a what people consider a custom paint job because it's candy, you know. But who knows, maybe I could be wrong. There are some cars that are factory cars that they say, oh, these are candy, but you know, a lot of the OGs will say that's not candy, or that's not custom, you know. So um, this one here, I went ahead and I decided to go with the blue. I started to get some filming going. First, starting off with laying down the Orion Silver as the base, and I went with my Iwata. Uh, it's the H? Let me see, HPTH, I believe. I just want to make sure. Iwata HPTH model. That's the one. So this is the Iwata HPTH. It's a gravity fed dual action, and it's a pistol grip also. So when you get this kind of airbrush, you do have to order the grip separately, but you can attach it, and now it fits perfect in your hand. Double action. It has a nice size cup, but you could always swap it out and put a even bigger cup in that. And the thing I like about this is because it shoots it in a fan pattern. You could get, like a 1 inch to 2 inch max uh, as far as the fan. And when you start spraying, and you start making your passes, you start to get some really nice coverage and overlap coverage when you're painting. So it helps give a smoother, cleaner layout of paint as you're passing back and forth. Very similar to just using a real spray gun, and it's more efficient, and you work faster, so you get it done quick. So when I was spraying away, I noticed like, oh man, I'm pretty much done. I did a coat, and then I let it chill for a bit, and then I hit it with another coat, chill for a bit, and I did it a third. I only did it a third just to make it more blingy, of just layering, and it's very forgiving. I mean, you could keep layering and layering and layering, and I mean, nothing's really you're not gonna go wrong. Like, it's not gonna react, nothing crazy. It's all metallics. It works really well, and it's pretty flaky, really nice and shiny. So once all that was set up, I was like, all right, cool. I'll let that chill. I'll come back the following day. So I was able to edit a lot of that content, that footage, which I put out on the part 2 of the video. And let me see, I'm going there to the channel. And then later, I ended up just recently doing a follow-up on it where I finally was able to add color to it. That'll be the next episode, or you see, I don't know what to call it. Maybe you guys can help me. Should I I've been noting down as a chapter, but I don't know if I should call it an episode or I should be calling it like a part, but you guys let me know. So the 4th part or episode or whatever will be dropping next week. So I pretty much have a lot of the content. I just need to piece it together, edit it over the weekend, and present that to everybody next week. So that will be out. The car is already painted, and that content will be dropping soon. One thing I wanted to mention regarding the House of Kolor, the blue candy. So when I had originally pulled out the blue bottle of candy that I had already pre-mixed some candy some months back. And I was like, oh, cool, it's already set. Let me shake it. Let me agitate it. This way we can get to work. But it had already been time. And I don't know if maybe, I'm assuming that perhaps the reducer that was in there that reduces the paint to make it flow through the airbrush, it might be, I'm thinking that it might have evaporated out, or I didn't have enough candy in the bottle. Because when I started things off and I was doing like a pre-spray on a napkin or like one of the shop towels, I noticed that material was coming out, but the blue wasn't really coloring it. I was like, huh, that's weird. So then I was like, well, let me give it a go. Really lightly, I'll spray the whole body. And when I went ahead and did that, I noticed I wasn't really getting the coverage that I wanted. Like, it was covering the car, but visually you couldn't really see the blue. It was very transparent, So it got me thinking, and I was like thinking, okay, I've used that jar before on a different car, but that was like a long time ago, and I went really light, and everything worked out to how I wanted it to work out. It worked out fine, I didn't have any issues. On this one here, since I was telling you guys that I wanted to go a little bit darker, I was like thinking, okay, I think what I need to do is just switch up the formula, because I think the way I mixed it was different. I was like, I need to mix it in the way that, Coast Airbrush mixes it, or even like Tropical Glitz when they mix their candies, like they're ready to sprays. So I started to do research, and I found the way that they mix it. It's an 8-to-1, and then after that's mixed, then it's like a 1-to-1. So to break that down, pretty much you get 8 parts of the SG100, pour that in, and then you get 1 part of the candy, and you pour that in. Then you get your mixing spatula or spoon, and or what's like, and you mix that up. You make that bond together, right? You make the candy bond with the SG100, which is pretty much like a transparent like paint, you know, and it's basically like clear but without hardener in it, right? You make that bond, and then once that's bonded together, what you pretty much do now is, now you have to mix that with reducer. So you have to reduce that, but when you reduce it, you have to reduce it evenly, 1-to-1, the same amount. So now you mix that, and now you make that connection, that bond. So I ended up doing that, and once it was ready to spray, I poured it in my airbrush cup, and I started doing my first passes. Right away, I could see getting coverage nicely. You know, my eyes just grew bigger. I was just happy. Like, there we go. This is what I was looking for. So I ended up doing a couple passes around the whole body. And the thing with candy is, whether if you want to go dark or light, it all it's gonna be, it just depends how many passes you do on the build, how much you spray on there. So I ended up just spraying everything and just looking at how many times I would pass on one side and try to match that everywhere. So this way I would have everything looking uniformed, and at the end I was pleased with the results. I was happy. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna put this away, and the next step would pretty much just be clear coating the car. That would be the next phase right there. I still need to go back and paint the interior. The interior, everything's already been cut out of the tree. It's already been primered. I'm thinking about using Tamiya rattle can, and most likely one of the AS, like the aircraft colors for the interior, and it's gonna probably be more of an ivory. I was gonna go with the tan, but then I'm like, nah, maybe the ivory. So I'm still trying to decide between both. So it could be ivory, or it could just be the other one there. For the centers, I'm thinking of probably candying those out too with the same color, and see how that comes out. Hopefully it comes out, or it looks interesting with like the blue centers to match the body, or even if it doesn't match, but like somewhat of a similar kind of tone. And I mean, this whole process has been fun, especially with just using, having the tools there. So Iwata airbrush, I highly recommend. If you want to get an Iwata airbrush, I know Coast Airbrush sells them. I used to sell them, but I don't carry them no more. Just because it's really hard. It's a really hard market to compete in. Um, you know, Pretty much, just buying them off of a distributor, they're already pretty expensive. Like, you're not really making any kind of money on those right there. It's almost like you got to get it directly from a major company. I think you can find them at Hobby Lobby too, anywhere. But if you guys really want to support a business, that I would recommend, like Coast Airbrush, where it's I guess it's like more like family owned, just because it's had a lot of history here in California, and so that's one that I could think of right now that I would recommend. But I mean, if you see one at your store, and it's an Iwata, get it. Online, like, yeah, I don't know about, and I'm not gonna mention any other stores, meaning like that don't really, just because they sell it, but doesn't mean that it's a legit product, because sometimes they could be made in a different country and they're not. They're like knockoffs. So then people start to like trip out, like, wait a minute, why is my airbrush leaking? Or even when I pull back for just air and I'm not pulling, I mean, when I push down for air and I'm not pulling the lever, like paint comes out, and sometimes there's certain parts that could be counterfeited that it doesn't fit. The one thing a friend told me about Iwata is that everything fits like perfect. You could change parts and upgrade it and do this and that, and everything fits really nicely. And that's when you know it's like quality stuff. It's like, just think of Legos fit great together, and then there's like knockoff brands where you like, yeah, they could be resemble that, but it could be different where you go, nah, it's not the same. But Iwata is one of the ones right there, a key airbrush player. Pache as well. I mean, I was never using Paches or painting like with those back in the day when that stuff was out. I had no idea about it. I did acquire one later just because, all the great things I heard from different people. I think that was like a first airbrush for a lot of people. So it got me very curious, like, man, I want to get a Pache, even for just like the history part of that and what that airbrush did with a lot of people. So acquired it. I did use it, and I did end up getting, different size needles and all this other stuff, but I think I just got used to the whole gravity fed airbrush. So that for me, it's like a very like a big plus. I still have the Pache, and I know one day I'll bust it out, but it's just like right now I don't need the tool at the moment to be using it. It's more the other tools that I'm currently using that's just been helping me get the workflow good and not be like stuck or anything like that. So I recommend that. I think later I will also pick up some more House of Kolor paints, some more 1 ounce candy concentrate colors. So this way I could like use that or mix it in the way I want. Um, and maybe some other base colors, but if anything, just the basics. So this way I could just mix colors in. So let's move on to the next thing. So I'm gonna be also this year be participating in a Corvair build for Armando Flores. I talked to him not too long ago, and he invited me if I was interested in doing a Corvair for a build for this upcoming model event that'll be the SoCal Open that'll be taking place in May. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm down. Especially with me doing this Fujimi build and just trying to stay as active as I can. I definitely, I'm like, yeah, this is manageable. I can do it. I just got to get the car because I don't have any of those models, but I will definitely get one. I need to get one in order to participate. So once I get that, I'll make, I'll post that up so you guys can see. But that's what's coming up. Also, on the table, on the bench, an upcoming Corvair build. If you guys have built one, let me know. Maybe tag me or send me like a DM so I could check it out. Or even if there's some cars for inspiration out there that I need to check out, that you come across, keep me posted. Very excited because I mean it's a lot of different artists that are going to be participating on this that Armando spoke with regarding this build, and it should be a fun one. It's been a while since the last time I did something like this with the guys, so I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm hoping to also just document the process as I'm going once I get started, and just share it, putting it out there and speaking about it on the podcast in the near future. Speaking about podcasts, if you want to, we're in episode 240, but if you want to backtrack and you want to listen to older episodes, they are available. I know that, with like Spotify or iTunes or any other podcast platform, they're very limited on how many episodes they have live to show, just because they know that, they have to make room for the next ones. If you go to podomatic.com/podcast/scale writers, you should be able to find the rest of the episodes there, on that page, and you could just keep scrolling all the way back to like episode 1. It's crazy. It's that many, but yeah, they're definitely out there, and a lot of them have guests. There's even during the time, of like during the pandemic, and it's crazy because it's almost like a little mini documentation with a little bit mention of current events and other things. And unfortunately, there's also been like some modelers that have passed away that we've had as guests on the show, and it's always nice to be able to hear their voice again. It's documented, it's recorded, it's there, and just to kind of if you never got to meet them, able to just like listen in. In the future, I do plan on having guests on again. It's just for now, I'm just trying to manage what I'm doing, and as the way that I'm putting out content and stuff like that. So I'll keep you guys in the loop when that stuff comes around. I always like think about goals and like dreams. Like, man, what do I need to do in order to take Scale Riders to the next level? What is it that I would like to do that I think people would probably like, and I would have a lot of fun with doing and stuff like that. And there's like, it's like kind of like a couple avenues. Like one of them being the podcasting route, where it would be a dream, one of my dreams, to have a room, like a studio room, where I have everything set up, microphones for guests, or even for solo episodes, where it's even recorded, for video purposes. This way it's released on both platforms, visually on YouTube, and also audio-wise on all the other platforms. Having guests in, especially guests that come in from out of town, because we have been actively getting a lot of artists that come from overseas or even different parts of the US. It'd be nice to like have them in as a guest, and be able to just have that more comfort, freedom to be doing all this stuff, and just leaving it there, and then just hitting record, and not having to like set up, tear down. It's all just there. That right there is like a goal, something I want to do. Piggybacking off of that, it's another thing would be, being able to link up with people, film stuff like that. Obviously the shows, going to model shows as well, and then the other avenue is, having a physical brick and mortar store, like a place where it's open to public, a place where modelers can come over, build, gather, have meetings. They could even leave projects that they're working on there, stuff like that. And also having the space to be able to do events as well, model shows, or even like artist showcases, similar to like art gallery kind of style stuff, like stuff like that. That would be like so dope. Like there's like a lot of things I would want to definitely do, but with thinking and wondering and stuff like that, it is possible to do those kind of things. It's just, seeking it and finding the information, obviously, and just taking action. That's all it's gonna be, no matter what. That's all it's gotta be. So for me right now, just like doing my thing and this and that, I think it's gonna just want to push me more closer and closer and closer to those ideas there, you know, that I've been wanting to do and stuff like that. And just I feel like stuff like that would be like to take it to that next level, right there for the brand and company. Um, but let's see. So Corvair build coming up and more content with that. And let's see what else. I also wanted to mention the next thing here. Let's move on to the next is upcoming items. Man, we've been getting in a lot of stuff in, and I also just recently ordered some things that I kind of want to just let you guys know, give you guys a heads up, so this way you guys know what's coming in. So this should arrive hopefully next week. Right now being Tuesday, if it goes out tomorrow, or wait a minute, I think they already updated the tracking. Damn. Let's see live right now while I'm recording this. I'm hitting the tracking right now. Then let's see what it says. Oh man. All right. This one is where's the estimated date? Oh, okay. We'll be updated soon. So I got the tracking. One of them, I'm pretty sure I'll have it by this Friday. And the other might take longer. The other one might show up like next week. It usually takes longer. It takes about a week. So let's go down the list. So we will be getting the Master Tools stainless T-ruler, large size. Those are going to be coming back in stock. Aoshima Liberty Walk Performance Charasuka Works is going to be coming back in stock. And we're getting back some HIQ Parts decal squeegee. Also the HIQ Parts mesh wire. And we're going to be getting that in red and in orange. And also in yellow. Dispays airbrush rack. Restock on the Fujimi AE8611. Mr. Hobby Surfacer 1200, restock on that. We're running low on that right now, so we're getting more of those paints in. The Tamiya masking tape, 10mm, 6mm. Those are like some serious to-go-tos right there. Restocking on those. More primer. The thing with primer is I'm just stockpiling the primer right now, trying to get as many as I can, just so this way I'm like really never out of stock on them. I just want, because we always use Tamiya primer, whether it's the fine surfacer in gray, white, or even in pink. Pink I would carry it here and there, but now I've been stocking a lot more of it, and I'm noticing more and more people are picking up the pink. I think people just want to switch things up for that foundation, from when they're layering, to get a different tone of their color. Also the Tamiya panel line in black, getting that in. Tamiya masking tape 2mm. That's also a nice little cool for like custom painting. I don't know if it's really that great in curves. I feel like that kind of tape is gonna crinkle or crack or rip, but it's more like for coverage, or if you're doing some type of pattern, but then you gotta lay down like some straight lines. I think that would come in very handy, that kind of tape right there. And then let's see. Oh, the Fujimi Spoon Civics. We did get one on the last shipment, but now we're getting more copies of that coming in. That's also a nice kit. And then the Fujimi CRXs are coming back. Yeah, those ones sold out quick. So this time around, I got like 6 copies of those. And All right, so now to the new stuff. This is some new stuff that I'm like, all right. I saw it. I was like, let's bring it in the shop. So Aoshima released the 132 scale Nissan GTR in a Millennium Jade classic color and also in a midnight purple. So we're getting those in the store. First time they do them in a 132 scale. I believe it's the only company that has produced those kits in a 132 scale. Also in 124 scale, they came out with the Toyota 86. This is the Comics Volume 1 Odawara Pikes Peak version. This is the MF Ghost number 1, and there's also an MF Ghost number 3 from the Comics Volume 9. I mean, for those of you guys that are into this, follow this kind of stuff, probably know more than anything. I have no idea. I mean, the artwork looks dope. Toyota 86, dope car. And, you know, I had to bring it in the store for anybody who's a fan or just someone who just wants the artwork. There you go. We're going to be getting that in right there. Another thing that I'm pretty excited about is Model Art Magazine. So, Model Art Magazine, Japanese magazine, they release a lot of issues with aircraft stuff, but they also do some car features and things like that. So just randomly, I put in a order for some issues. I really wasn't able to manage to get a lot. Only was able to get like one of like the different ones, because I was like, what? But I'm gonna be in contact with one of the reps, so I'm hoping to get more. But I guess just to start, these might be some that might have been out of print. Who knows? But one of them is the Model Art Magazine, June 2019. I mean, so far the cover and some of the solicitations and pages I saw look pretty dope. And the one thing though is that everything's like in Japanese. That's the only thing. There's another one. Oh, then there's these other ones. All right. So that's the magazine, right? That's a little bit less in price. There's this other one that's a little bit more in price. But this is titled Model Art Method Series, Master Guide of Detail Up Parts. So that's one book. And then another book is Model Art from Zero Series, How to Build a 124 Car Model for Beginners. And I was like, yo, like these, you know, they already sound cool. They sold me, right? So I'm going to be getting them in. Only getting one of one. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. It sounds pretty pathetic, but I'm being honest with you guys here. Just one of one for now. But I'm hoping later I'm going to, like, you know, be talking to the dude, telling him I want more of these mags, the newest ones or whatever you can get them to me. I mean, these are from Japan. So I want to start trying to bring some of these in as I can. I did sell out of the Model Art Rhombus Mesh that they had released as well, and these are for 124 scale cars. Those ones when I got them were out, and gonna be getting more back in. And let's see what else. There's also AK Interactive Real Color Marker Wheels. They came out with these markers to paint your wheels, and I ended up picking up some sets. These are new colors that just came out. It's a flat black, rubber black, and dark aluminum. So these are pretty much just for wheels. So if you don't have, you know, no place to paint, or like let's say for example you're 3D printing your wheels and everything, and maybe you can't primer and you can't paint or airbrush, whatever your case may be, this might be an option. You know, this is just an extra thing. This could be an option, or even if you need to just touch something up. You know, let's say you did paint your wheel black and everything, and you don't want to use a marker because it's too glossy. It's too, you know. Now you have options. You know, right here, you could touch it up with this right here, or you could even use it for interior. You know, just go with the flow, get creative, and you do various things. One thing I am going to try out, I only got one of because I want to experiment with this myself. I ended up picking up a color set, AK Interactive Real Colors, U.S. Navy, and U.S. MC Modern Aircraft and Helicopter Color Set. It's a set of 6. So these are lacquer base paints. Picked up this set more for like the interior colors to be able to airbrush that on the interior. And let's see the other one. The other one is AK Interactive, U.S. Navy, and USMC Aircraft Colors, 1945 to 1980. This gives me more, it's more like a dark sea blue, like more in the gray tones. They look pretty nice, those colors. And then I also got a bottle of lacquer thinner to be compatible with this. I did get a booklet that they provided on the last shipment. And just from looking at this booklet, it's called Real Colors Lacquer Based Paint. They show you like the new style of bottling to dispense the paint out of. That looks pretty nice, pretty attractive right here. And then they also break it down where pretty much it says characteristics and properties, the basic features, real colors, and compatibility. Real colors are highly compatible with other lacquer-based paints and can be mixed with them to obtain mid-tones or different colors. Should I try to read in Spanish? Let's see, it says, las pinturas real colors son altamente compatibles con otras pinturas a base de laca. I guess that's how they say lacquer, laca. Y pueden mezclar para obtener tonos medios o diferentes colores. All right. So we have Real Colors, Mr. Hobby, Tamiya, and then this one here. So they're right here. From what I'm looking at is you could pretty much intermix these. They're all compatible because they're all lacquer, and maybe they're all coming from the same company, allegedly. Nah. I don't know, but that's cool though. That's dope because and also I'm pretty sure this is compatible with Splash as well. If you have Splash paints, you have their lacquer thinner, or if you want to layer like layer one over the other, it's gonna be compatible. Nothing crazy. Let's see the working pressure. It should be stable whenever possible. Use a compressor with a tank. Yeah, I highly recommend that too. Make sure you always have a compressor with a tank. It varies between 1.2 to 1.5 bar. I guess, oh, I see. Because they're showing a gauge, and this one, it just has those kind of numbers. But basically what it is, it's like between 17 to 22 PSI, depending also on the ratio of the mixture used. That's a very reasonable PSI right there. I know I've touched on this in the past. I tend to stay between 18, 20. I think I've just left that at 20 now, and I don't even look at it. No matter what paint, clear, whatever I'm shooting, I don't even mess with that no more. I do have a tank in the compressor, and I feel like with the tank, it serves enough air. It produces it when I need it. It's on auto, so I never and like had to struggle when I'm spraying, a lack of air, anything like that. It works out really really nice. What else? Let me see. Those are the things that stand out right now. So that are very important. Because whenever you're going to buy a new paint line, I mean, you do want compatibility and also the working pressure, things like that. That works. I mean, this paint looks awesome. I need to try it out though first. I want to try it out for myself. I want to see what's up, and then I have that practice like test body also that I'll most likely use on that roof since it's already primered. It's ready to go. And this could be something that I might start picking up into the online store and go from there. I'm also, talking about splash paints. It's been a minute since I've carried any splash paints, but there are some colors that I'm interested in, which are like the wheel colors, interior colors, and even their clears. I mean, all the other colors are amazing. I mean, there's no one else that sells like, let's say, like the factory colors, like the Millennium Jade, Midnight Purple, things like that that are like just like classics that a lot of people want. Um, I am gonna be getting a lot of that stuff back in. It's just, little by little building up my paint, stuff like that, and getting in more, more and more into the lacquers. Um, and right now with like my build, I use both. I go from lacquer to urethane and lacquer. I really love that combination. I haven't really gotten into acrylics at all. Back then I was trying to do man, what was the name of that paint? That other paint wash. Let me go on this website called Coast Airbrush Creatix Colors. I remember trying their stuff for a minute, but then I kind of stopped. But when I did use it, I did like what was coming out, like how I was doing it. But it was just, at the time I didn't really need to. I feel like I was experimenting too much with different colors and going off of this when I should just focusing on what's in front of me, what I have already. So that's what kind of made me. Later, I'll get into it. I mean, there's not. It's a good brand. I know the homie Joe, Altered Works. He stands by it. I mean, just look at his work. He's just phenomenal work, and it's a lot of that. It's all Createx. So not knocking them or anything like that, the brand or anything. It's just I don't use it. But right now, it's more lacquer based paints and the urethane stuff is what I'm rolling with right now. So check that out right there. And let's see. Before we wrap things up, I also want to bring up ModelFest, Model Car Contest and Swap Meet. It's coming up. It's Sunday, February 23rd, 2025, Seaside Park, Ventura County Fairgrounds, 10 West Harbor Boulevard, Ventura, California, 93001. For more information, please contact Ventura Hobbies, 805-658-8138. You can ask for Vern. That's the owner of the company. And we're weeks away from this. We're not too far away. It's going to be coming up. I will be there. An update. I should be vending as well. Payment went through. Everything's clear. We're ready to go. And once I get my notification as to like where I will be, I will try to scan that and share it. I mean, it's not like it's a crazy huge room. You'll find me if you plan on going. But I will be there for sure. If there's a particular item that you're looking for, let me know ahead of time if you plan on just picking it up there or want to look at it or whatever. Obviously, I'm not bringing the whole store there. I'm going to bring what I can bring. For sure, things that, are sought after, things that people need. Maybe, people need to re-up on this and that. So little things like that, I'm definitely going to be having there in store. And but if there's something specific and I have it on the site, please let me know, because it kind of sucks when you're there and someone's there for a particular thing and you don't have it, because I really don't know what everybody needs or wants. So please advise, let me know. But that show's coming up. I mean, right now as I'm recording this, let's see, we are on February the 4th already. So, we're pretty much like 19 days away, and it's on a Sunday. So that will be coming up right there. I know for myself, the following week I'll be swamped. I'm gonna be busy from like the 10th to the 14th. Valentine's Day coming up. I mean, most of you guys that know me personally know, my parents, they own a flower shop business, and I mean, that's the family business, and all hands on deck. You gotta be working. So most likely, like those, like the Monday, I'll probably be like the 10th. I'll probably be shipping out some packages, stuff like that. But anything else that comes in that week, it won't go out until like probably the 18th, because I know, or maybe the 15th, because I know there's the 17th. That's gonna be President's Day, and everything's gonna be closed. So I'm gonna try my best. If I have energy and everything, I'll try to get stuff out the 15th. But if I'm like just done, then most likely the 18th. But I appreciate you guys for all your support, spreading word, listening to this podcast, taking the time to listen. I hope, if you're, you know, driving somewhere far, or just commuting to work, or just in the bench working on your build and everything, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I appreciate your support. So on that note, I'm gonna be checking out, and hope you guys have a good one. Keep on building, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace out.